And good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, the facilitator of the Love and Stuff community, and I am excited to be here with you for another Tuesday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we share from the inbox topics that will help us challenge our perspective and up our love game. Be kind to us and click share right now and tag five of your closest Facebook, YouTube, Twitch TV friends, or five of your more popular ones to join in the discussion tonight. So, whether you are watching us from the Love and Stuff community page, the Marcus R. Holmes page, via restream on YouTube events or Twitch TV, we are excited that you are here and we're hoping that you will click share and tag some folks to join us in tonight's discussion. Over the last 4 years, we've brought shows to you straight from the inbox, from topics that you wanted to talk about, that you dropped in the inbox, sometimes in anonymity, sometimes you come on as show guest, and we're excited that you continue to provide us your topics or topics that you're interested in learning more about or hearing other opinions about, all in the hope that we can up our love game. And whether it is that love of your life, that husband, wife, boo, or bae, whether it is your relationship with your parents or with your children or with your siblings or with your coworkers, I hope that you will agree with us that we all could use more love in our life and therefore more love in our communities, our churches, our schools, our jobs, and our world. And so if you want to be a part of a community like that, this is the place to be. And certainly join us at the Love and Stuff community page by clicking follow, joining the Inside of Love and Stuff group, a brand new group, and also preparing to join us in the inner circle if you're really on the journey for love. All right, I hope you will click share. And as you're doing that, I want to remind you that we are an author of the book, The Gratefulness Journey Every Day. What are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life? And continuing from last week, we just want to again share with you, if you have those moments where you need to be picked up, there's one part in the book where we talk about taking that shower, hot, cold, or lukewarm, and getting in front of the air conditioning unit or fan or vent. And after you do that for a few seconds, you will find that you will be awakened to your senses of smell and touch and sound and sight. And those are geared to awaken you so that your brain has pathways and portals to remember your senses as you're going through various stages of your life. So don't give up if you're feeling depressed or you're feeling sad. Get in front of that fan after you take a shower and watch it reawaken, reinvigorate your senses. And that's what you want to do whenever you're feeling low. You want to reinvigorate your senses so that you can be awakened to moments of gratefulness, be awakened to the very sense of the cotton on your fingers, sense of the wood floor or carpet, so that you can be awakened that you are still here. There is still purpose and there is still so much to be grateful for. I hope you will get the book, The Gratefulness Journey Every Day. It's available on Amazon, especially, but also on Kobo and on Barnes and Noble as well. All right, we're going to get into the topic. I'm just giving you a chance to click share and tag someone to join us in the discussion. Thank you so much for coming in. We are excited about inbox topics. We love the opportunity to interview guests. But one of the favorite things that we love to do here is get your topics from the inbox and discuss them. Why do we love to discuss your topics? Because it's what's front of mind for you. And most times, if you're thinking about your love, you're in the best position to make a change to your love. That's right, a change to the relationship with the quintessential love, a change with the love of yourself, a change with the love of those that you are in relationship with. So we absolutely hope that you will continue to drop us topics in the inbox at the Love and Stuff inbox or the Marcus R. Holmes inbox, or if you're on YouTube events at HR Passion Guy or Twitch TV HR Passion Guy. Either of those places are great places to drop topics for us to discuss. And who knows, your topic could be the next one up on the show. All right. Going to the inbox, and hopefully our senior associate producer will be pinning this very shortly in the comments so that you can see it. Here's the topic from the inbox. He writes, here is a question. There was a man who was previously in a short-lived marriage. He started a new relationship. 3 months into the relationship, he asked the lady to move in with him. They have been living together for approximately 4 months now, and everyone in her family and friend circle knows about the living arrangement, but only a few in his circle know they live together. Is he wrong for not telling his friends that they are living together? Should she be upset that he has not told his friends? She thinks he is hiding this information, and she is upset as she thinks he is hiding their living arrangement from his friends because he does not want to be judged by them because they would think that he is moving too fast. What say you, Love and Stuff? So I'm excited to have this discussion with you. And I hope that you will pipe in and join into this discussion, which I think is a great discussion. So two people move in together. And I know there are those of you that have varying beliefs. I was having the conversation just with Autumn, varying beliefs about living together. So I get that. So two people have decided, two adults have consented to live together after a short period of dating, short time dating, 3 months. To me, that's a short time. To some people say, I talk to some people in the inbox that say, when you know, you know. And I said, well, what do you know after 3 months? They said, if you're dating all the time, seeing each other every day, did you know each other beforehand? There are a lot of things that factor in. For me, 3 months is still a short period of time to go from dating to moving in. That's just me. And so you move in after a short period of dating. You've been staying together for 4 months, and you think about it and you realize, hey, I've told everybody on my side, but I don't think you told anybody on yours. Or very few people know. Is that a problem? How would you feel if you moved in after a short time of dating and you learned that, don't nobody know on your side, only my people know? Would that be a problem for you? Let me hear from you in the comments. Thank you, Bilal Muhammad, for joining us. Corey Mildred King has joined us. Thank you so much. I hope you will click, share, and tag someone to join us in this discussion, this conversation. What do you say? Drop in the comments if you believe, first and foremost, 3 months is too soon. Click a like or love. 3 months is too soon. If you say that's too soon for people to get together, drop in the comments a like or a love. Okay, give you a moment to respond to that, like or love. If you say 3 months is too soon. Okay. All right, I'm looking for likes or loves. Right, maybe that means no one agrees with that. 3 months is not too soon. Give me a like or love. Like 1 month, whatever time. Give me a like or love if you say 3 months is not too soon. 3 months is not too soon for two people that are dating, who've been dating for 3 months to move in together. Is 3 months not too soon? Drop that in the comments. Because that is one of the things that I'd love to discuss with you. I'd love to hear, okay, somebody says, I see a like, so that's not too soon. All right, so drop in the comments. What do you think? Is that too soon, not too soon? Let me hear your comments. Let me see your comments. Is that too soon, not too soon? Okay, and as you're circulating your comments in there, I want to ask you, so you're living together, you've been living together for 4 months, and you notice that nobody of your partners, only a small group of your partner's friends know. Why? You done told your mama, your uncles, your aunties, your cousin thems, but your partner's only told 1 or 2 people. Is that a problem? Give me a like or love. Is that a problem if your partner hasn't let everybody know, hey, we're living together? Is that a problem for you? If that's a problem, give me a like or love. If that seems like awkward to you, right? Does it seem awkward to you if no one seems to know that you are living together? Does that matter to you? Okay, I got a like or love. Got a like. Got one like. Okay, that's kind of awkward. Someone is saying. Okay. Do you think from our inbox that she has the right to be upset? Does she have a right to be upset because she has told, like I said, she's told her uncle, auntie, everybody, cousin, them. Okay. Does she have a right to be upset if she hasn't, if he hasn't, or gentlemen, if you had told everybody and she hasn't, do you have a right to be upset? What is that sending you some message? Do you feel like it's some message? Valencia Mama at the Mama V Etner says it's soon, and given that a short-lived marriage prior to is also in the stew, there is a hope that healing has taken place. That being said, it was a risk for both, but only one seems to have unfettered skin in the game, and I would feel like I'm being hid, and that would be hurtful. All right. Good point. I love it. I love it. And I'm wondering, Mama V, because I believe it, oftentimes our love consideration, what's missing in the equation is good, authentic communication, which I believe includes a messenger, a message, and a recipient. Now, there are some other layers but those are the basic things that it includes. We could do better at the messaging, right? We could be more open as the messenger. We could be open as the recipient of the message, right? But I think the love consideration is often missing that part of the equation. So I'm wondering, is that a conversation that should be had? Because I think 3 months is soon. But is that a conversation that should be had? Hey, because I was in this marriage, because my family was all involved, I don't want to tell everybody. Is that a conversation that should be had ahead of time so that she doesn't feel like Valencia is saying, hey, that would be hurtful? All right, Angie Wilson has joined us. Hello, beautiful. She says, it's nobody's business. Come on, nobody's business. So, Angela, the beautiful, I want to ask you this. But what if you had told all of your family and friends, including me as your friend? Suppose you told me, Marcus, I found this man and I'm married. I'm living with him after 3 months, but he hasn't told his family. Would that be a issue for you, Angela? I love you. Said it's nobody's business. Got it. Would it be an issue for you if he had not? You told everybody. You told your mom, your dad, your sisters, me. I'm just throwing me in the pot. And he ain't told nobody but his buddy, his home skillet. What would you say? Okay. Sounds like you think it. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm wondering, most times without there being some communication, we sometimes get to a place of, we get to a conclusion based on somebody's actions without having a conversation, because it just would stand to reason if you were gung-ho and getting into a relationship. And to me, again, 3 months is gung-ho. To some people, it's not. And we should talk about that for a minute. 3 months into living together is what I'm saying. Again, I broached this with other folks in the inbox, and they said, hey, if they've been dating every day and they've really had a strong connection, moving in 3 months, that's what it is. To me, even dating every day, I'm not sure what that looks like. I need a break. I don't know if I could date every day, but I understand the concept. Seeing each other every day, talking every day, courting, getting to know each other. I still think 3 months, for all that I am at 51, and all that I was for the 50 years before that, I think that 3 months is a little short on the time for me to say, well, come on, move in. This is the direction we're going. I just think that's quick. Even if we had a financial counselor and we sat down and said, this is how the money, yeah, I just me. That's just my own thing. But sometimes we get to this conclusion without having a conversation. And so I'm wondering, how important is that conversation to be had since you just moved in 4 months ago? You've been dating 3 months. Angela Wilson says maybe he knows that his family, kids, or ex might have a problem with him living with someone. It also could be he's done this before and it didn't turn out well, so that could be why he is hesitant to tell his family. I think that's fair. Bilal says, and Michael Flanoy has joined us. Thank you, Mike. Click share and tag some folks to come in on this conversation. I hope you will chime in as well. Is the question too soon, or is the question she feels she is hidden? Aren't they dating? I think both are fair questions, Bilal. I think it's a fair question of 3 months is too soon, and therefore too soon to expect for him to be full throttle, even though you're living there. Because living there to a man might be different than living there to a woman, depending on who they are, right? That's why that conversation is part of the consideration. That's why that's an important question to me. But also, feeling hidden is a continuum of this conversation of communication, right? Because what has the conversation been like, to Angie's point? Maybe there's a history with bringing family, introducing family too early in the relationship, and it has spoiled the momentum. It spoiled the relationship. So both, I think, are things that have to be discussed. And because you're dating, what does that mean? If you're dating, does that mean you move in with somebody that you're dating after 3 months? And why? You got to ask yourself, if I'm fresh out of a marriage that was short-lived, why am I moving somebody in after 3 months? Is there something I need to do to work on me so that I can be ready? Am I afraid of being alone? There's so many things that could be at play, but I think you have to ask yourself, now I just got out of something that wasn't maybe the best thing, or maybe it was, whatever the reason I exited or it was exited. Why am I into a living arrangement in 3 months? That might be a question you want to ask yourself, that anybody would want to ask themselves. Charmaine Walker Sutton, I don't think the amount of time necessarily makes a difference. You can know someone for a year and still don't really know someone. Yep. I think my chances of knowing someone and dating them consistently for a year are better after a year than after 3 months. And this is one of the old adages. It may be something that you would consider, Charmaine. You do need to see people in different seasons of their lives before you decide who they really are. And I don't know if 3 months is enough time to see me in a season. And I don't necessarily just mean winter, summer, spring, and fall. How are they doing when pressure is happening? How are they doing when things are going well? How do they deal with conflict? You may or may not learn that in 3 months to move in and then live with somebody who you've just been dating for 3 months. So for me, it makes a big difference, but I recognize and acknowledge your point. I think it's a great point. 3 months is too soon, but folks are lonely and they like the microwave relationships these days. I think loneliness might factor into that. I think microwave might factor into that. I also think that if you decide to get into a living ship, no disrespect to anybody, if you decide to get into a living ship, then I think you have to ask some questions about how the other person has been living. You have to find that out, because in this case, that man may have been through hell with his family and with that short-lived marriage, the in-laws. So how has he been living through that? Because that's important to know in that 3-month space going into it. Then you say, well, I'm not going to sweat that he hasn't told them, because they're the ones that bring such consternation, right? They're the ones that bring that friction. I don't want that friction in this new relationship. And so if you're going to move in with somebody after 3 months, aren't you saying, I'm willing to trust how you move and how you navigate, not having had those conversations over 3 months. Because 3 months can be filled with infatuation and filled with passion and filled with great sex. It can be filled with great travel. It can be filled with great commonalities. The driving could be smooth. You haven't gotten on rough terrain. You haven't really gotten on the freeway of love. Bless Aretha's memory. It could just be the beginnings of the beginnings. So you gotta find out when you're in a living ship, how has the other person been living before you got in this living ship? And then you'll have a better sense of how to navigate this living ship and if you should navigate it. Again, it's no shame. People move in shorter spans, and some stay together forever. And some that stayed together forever wasn't the most happiest, and some it was. So it can work out however you work it. But I strongly suggest that if you are in a living ship, you're in a relationship where you moved in together, find out through conversations how that person was living before you got in the living ship. It will help you to navigate that living ship better. Valencia says, once they moved in, dating ends and cohabitation begins, and that is why it's soon. What is the rush? If seeing each other every day, stay the course till you are sure you again healed from the death of the prior covenant relationship that did not work. And that's not one-sided. And it is fair to inflict that. And is it fair to inflict that on someone? Great point. If communication was clear, she would have no question this would have been discussed. I think it would have been. But oftentimes, again, in the space of 3 months, in my thinking, in my estimation, the space of 3 months is not enough time typically to move from conversations to connections to convictions. I don't mean, have you ever been arrested? That's not what I mean. I use that word there because I think you don't just get connected. Even though you have sex, you might get physically connected, but you start with conversations. If you don't start with conversation, you cut off the learning. But then you get connected by those commonalities and those things that you enjoy doing together. You become connected, right? And some of those things might be sex, yep. But then you get to move into something deeper, which is, what do you believe? Who are you? And how do you navigate based on what you believe and who you are in this world? That's what I'm going to define as conviction. So conversations, connections, convictions. And to me, in 3 months, you don't typically get to convictions. Most people start at connection. They work hard to connect, and they don't have as much conversation. Conversation is where you start the learning. It's where you build the awareness of the other person. Connection is where you see that awareness lines with who you are. That's when you start to become connected. And then you can move to conviction. Okay, now what do you really believe? Who are you really? Because now you're getting to a place of emotional safety, psychological safety, where a person feels like they can let their hair down, as it were, and show you who they really are. They're moving from the representative when you're getting to convictions, right? And so I think oftentimes we don't start with the conversations. And 3 months, you're talking about the movies, and you're talking about the sports and politics and things you like and things you don't, and favorite colors, and those are good. But you got to get a little bit more into the conversations so that you can connect, start to align on the things that are really deepening where you can get into more alignment. Okay. Anthony Waller, thank you for joining us. I hope you will click, share, and tag someone to join our discussion. Maybe he feels his family may bring an element that will disturb the relationship. I think that's an excellent point, sir. And maybe the living arrangement will show if they get along. No one said they are getting married. Sure. Now, here's one of the things, Anthony, and I think this is spot on, that I broached in the inbox. And kind of, it was a little bit 60-40. 60% of the women that I talked to, and I didn't get to talk to hundreds yet, but 60% of them were more thinking that if I'm moving in, we're moving to something that's exclusive toward marriage. The man saw it as a compatibility, and we'll see. So people go into again, that's about conversations, because you go into a conversation, say, okay, now we're getting into a living ship. You might not use that word. We living together, we shacking up, whatever word you want to use. We moving in together. What does this mean for the trajectory and direction of our relationship? Because that's a question, right? And there should be some answers. And if those answers are very different, there should be more conversation, right? Most people don't take into consideration time factors when the sex is unbelievable. We tend to just go with the flow until the bottom falls out, literally or figuratively. I had to put that in there, Mike. We will keep going on, won't we? And what I hope that this couple and any other couple, I don't want people to feel like you're being judged. I do want you to hear the reflection say to you, are you moving more quickly than you need to, and why? And if you can get from me, of course, there's going to be a wealth of, I'm not a loveologist or a psychologist by license, but there'll be a wealth of people to share. And that's what we love about Love and Stuff. Get these 3 C's from me: conversations, a lot of them; connection, deepening them; and convictions, knowing who that person is and knowing then how they navigate in this world being who they are. Because you might find that everybody aren't, most of us are evolving. Everybody's not at the place where they may fully know who they are. And that's an important part to get in the connection area. And most time we think of connection, well, I feel like we can be together, we're compatible. It gets deeper the more that you are able to trust and be vulnerable with another human being. And you began to get deeper, like the 36 questions that lead to love, which I recommend. I get no payola from that, but I recommend that because it helps you to get deeper in a connection to another person, to see how much are you alike, how much are you different, how much does it complement you, and that you can build connections on that. But it has to start with conversations. And I kind of believe that we don't spend as much effort in the conversation part where we're saying, hey, and just learning. I think it's a learning. You learn about people. You learn, if you watch people, how they lie to you. You learn how people might feel like they have to lie to you, or how they might have to inflate things, embellish things. You learn all of those things in just conversation. And then you move to connection. I'd say, in those 3 months, even though I know that people can have unbelievable sex and an unbelievable connection, I read it, I heard it, that you can have unbelievable sex and a connection immediately. But if you want to go the distance, I think the sprint is the conversation. Before you get into the 40-yard dash, if I can say it that way, get into the conversations to see who you're talking to and see how they communicate. And learn from them. So you're having conversations to learn. And I'll be sharing coming up in the inside of Love and Stuff. There are some more questions that you can ask an individual that you don't know to just build initial connection, right? So I want you to, if you're interested in somebody, it's the 36 questions that lead to love, but we'll have more on that. Do we collect data with the same address? It can be messy if deal breakers show up after I'm getting mail at your house, or vice versa. Come on, mail at the house, or phone calls, or bill collectors. Come on. All of these types of things, again, I think strongly in a living ship, you got to find out how the person lived before you got in the living ship so that you can see how they navigate. You got to see how they navigate. I talked to one person in the box, said, I never knew until we moved in together that he has a drink every day, and that's something, or he smokes a cigar every day, and that's something that annoys me. But did you all have conversations about how do you live? What is living like to you? What is your space like to you? What does your personal space mean to you? How do you feel about sharing that personal space? What do you do in your personal space that another person might say, all of those are learning opportunities. And if you don't have those conversations, you'll find yourself in the house with a smoker and be like, I feel like I can only be in one room. The smoke is engulfing me. But you got to have those conversations. And I think 3 months is a good amount of time to be having conversation and maybe not moving to living ship. Everybody will do it their own way, and everybody, no judgment here. We love it if you decide that you're going to move in. I just want you to ask yourself if you're like this person in the inbox who just got out of a bad relationship or got out of a short-lived relationship. That was my alluding that it was bad. Not saying, just says short-lived. Got out of a short-lived relationship, marriage, and moving in with you. Ding, 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 ding. Conversations before we go to all of the libations and all of the gyrations. Come on. Say, come on, loving stuff. Come on. Drop that in the comments. Come on, gyrations. Because we can get some gyrations going. Some good gyrations. But we probably need a little bit more conversations. All right. Come on, 36 questions. I would say I swear by it, but I really believe 36 questions reveal some things that I don't think people even want to be revealed. And that's good. Charmaine says, what if there is no sex involved? What if they are cohabitating to see if they are compatible to take the next step, marriage? Perhaps that was the reason his marriage was short-lived. He may be interested in marriage again, but wanted to cohabitate first because he did not do it the first time. And I would say it's wonderful if they haven't involved sex in the marriage. In this case, I'm wondering, Charmaine, I hope I'm saying it correctly. I'm wondering if she's feeling insecure that he hasn't announced her appropriately, whether or not they've had the compatibility discussions from conversations. Because see, if you have these kind of discussions where I say, I'm extroverted, which means I like people. I like the connection to people. And I'm bringing someone to live with me that's introverted, we should be having a conversation whether or not all of the people that are visiting is going to make you hide in a room, right? And applying that to the inbox, if he's the kind of person that does not like people in his business, she should already know that. So 3 months is early, in my opinion, in this scenario, if you don't already know that. Cohabitating, non-sexual or not. If you're moving in and you feel insecure, there might need to be some conversations that did not happen. And I'm just saying, boy, wouldn't it be great to have all of those conversations before you decide to move in? Because then your feelings are hurt. You don't feel like you're being hidden. You don't feel, okay, what is this? Because you've already discussed, hey, we're going to be out there. Everybody going to know we out here. We live and ship in these streets. Or, hey, because of this past situation, I'm just, hey, this is how I need to move and navigate. So, come on, gyrations. Come on. Hey, Tabitha Goodner. Hey, Leonard Forrest, thank you both for joining. I hope you'll click, share, and tag some folks to join us. And was the pantry cleared? Come on, pantry. 3 months of dating may mean someone else or others may have been in the head and heart or bed mix. Is that why no disclosure? It certainly could be. I think you're raising a great point. And I think, again, that's the conversations, I think, that maybe, see, when it's good, it's good. When she makes you laugh or he makes you laugh and he makes your toes curl, and it might not necessarily be sex, to Charmaine's point. Everything is not about sex, though people at Charmaine, you ask people in the 40s, 50s, 60s, they might have a little more thought on sex, maybe. And you're getting into the, I like you. Ooh, the chemistry. And you're settling into that. It's feeling like something you can settle into. I think we often mistake that, though, for whether the conversations line up with connections that we should settle into something. right? And 3 months is enough time if you're asking the conversations to find out whether or not he or she has been truthful about what Valencia said. Has there been another head or heart in the bed? Because that's a conversation. Now, people may not necessarily be forthcoming, but there are ways that you can tell, right? There is science out there, you know. When you're talking to somebody, and we may have to do a show about it, did you know that when you are not being truthful, there is a part of your hormones that go to your nose and cause your nostrils to flare and cause your nose to itch? So the Pinocchio isn't so far off that you will touch your nose. So it's little things that you can see. You learn people's baseline, and then you see how they act outside of that baseline to see if it's nervous or if it's lying. And 3 months is enough time to ask a brother, sisters, or ask a sister, brother, who's the last person you slept with? Now, if that person is like, excuse me, this is too soon for you to be asking me about that, then it's too soon to be moving in. That breakup that you just had, what was your role? What would you say was your failure in that breakup? And how would you navigate differently? It wasn't my fault. You might have to check out the body language, become socially aware, and check out, am I being told the truth here? And 3 months is enough time. It's a probationary time to find out, okay, in these 90 days, are you being truthful with me about how you were living before you met me, before I get into a living ship, if living ship is on the table? So I'm going to use these 90 days to learn you and let you learn of me, right? And I'm going to be open so that you will be open, so that I can gauge whether or not you're being truthful with me and whether or not this chemistry that I feel can lead to a connection that can be sustained in a living ship. Because you might do the connection without the living ship. Now, some people say, hey, I need to see if I can live with you. You might do that. I would just suggest you might do this instead of moving in. You might say, I need to find out how you were living before the living ship. Doesn't mean I need to move in with you to see how you would live. I want to see how you live now. How do you live now? How do you navigate now? Before I get into that living ship. And again, I'm not promoting living ship one way or the other. I'm a man of faith. I believe that if you are going to get into a relationship and it's going to marriage, get married and then move together. That's my thought. Call it old fashioned. I understand it. But I ain't judging nobody that decided, hey, this was, he smashed me, I smashed him, it's been a smash, it's going to be a blast, we all going to be together. I get it. I'm just saying, ask yourself, if you're in it in 3 months, how did you get there so quickly? What was the factor? And to Charmaine's point, it might not be sex, but what was the factor that moved you from day 1 to day 90 and you're moving in? Because you may not have had the level and kind of conversation that I think would be important for you to be able to sustain a living ship. I agree. It's too soon to ask certain questions. It's not too, I'm sorry. I agree. If it's too soon, I'm sorry. Thank you. I misread it. If it's too soon to ask certain questions, it's too soon to cohabitate. I believe that. And I'll add to that, Charmaine, if you're asking the questions and you're getting evasive or elusive answers, or you in your center, I'm a person that I'm not Iyanla, so I'm not doing this, but I would do this now that she's out there. But in my center, if I don't feel what somebody is telling you, my close friends will tell you this, Charmaine, I'll do this. It's sitting to the left or the right. If it doesn't center in me what somebody's saying to me, it eats at me until I can reconcile it. That's just how I am. And it could be my people watching from human resources. I don't know what it is, but I need to believe what you're saying to me, and I will kind of test it out to get to a level of comfortableness with who you are and what you're saying to me, whether those things reconcile. And I suggest that for anybody. So if you're asking questions and they're like, Why you want to know that? Or or whatever it is that makes you say that little hair saying, now why they do that? Pay attention to that and revisit it. Don't make a big deal of it right then. A day or two later, so you remember that other night we was having a wonderful time and I asked you about something and your whole demeanor seemed to change. Did I do something different? And listen to them and listen to their body speak to you. Watch their palms clench close. See if they remain open. See if their arms fold. So that you can find out there's something there that's hidden. Don't press it. Give it 3 more days. And come back to it and lead with some bit of truth from you. Say, I was dating this clown. I'm so glad that he got 2 to 5 in prison because we're not together no more. And I don't know what I was doing. Have you ever been in a situation where you was really into somebody, but it really wasn't the right person? And listen and let them talk and open up. And if they do, go back to that situation, say, well, that was kind of what I was asking the other day that I felt like you clammed up. So sounds like maybe we can talk about it now. And if he shuts down again, you got to make those notes, or she could be the same, fellas. You make those notes and say, we got to have a lot more conversations before we start connecting, because connecting kind of sometimes muddies the water depending on how you connect. Comfort zone can be deceiving. Discernment matters. Come on, discernment. Sometimes we have to push back against ourselves. Caught Up in the Rapture is a great song, but in life and living, not so smart. Not if you're going to stay in it. I'm saying that's no inside joke, but those of you that are in the community, and you should join inside of Love and Stuff so you can get to know Mama V a little bit more. She will tell you that along with my brother, bless his memory, they were kind of guardian angels over me at a time. And one of the things, I don't know if she even remembers this, they say, did you think about doing that before you did it? Because you can be in the moment, caught up in the rapture, and not thinking about the rapture, where it's taking you or what you're doing in it. The rapture can have you a total fool, and it just feel good to you. You will just go, I am in the rapture. Forgive me if that gyration was too much for you. I'm in the rapture, but you're really not focused on what you're doing, right? And so you got to use the gifts that you have. And many of us are maybe not as awakened to those gifts that are telling you when something is safe, when something is good, and when something is not quite true. And don't discount when you're feeling those feelings. That pit in your stomach, that need to swallow, that hair on the back of your neck. For me, it's this feeling that something is not in the center. Don't ignore it. Be curious about it. Question it. And maybe not in the sense that you will be in an interrogation, because you can cause people to clam up more. But you just explore it and say, hey, I noticed that, you got quiet after I asked you about your ex. Is that really painful? Yeah, I don't never want to talk about it. Well, we were talking about moving in together. I just need to know how you navigated with an ex. That'd be pretty important to me to see how you handle that. Did you get angry? What's your temperament like? I'm just curious, but we don't have to talk about it now, babe. But we do need to talk about it and watch his or her reaction so that you can, as Valencia said, discern. Okay? All right. I wanted to go back to this inbox because I started, we said, some people said 3 months is too soon. Some people said, maybe not too soon. Okay? So we got, a pretty decent split of people saying soon, not soon, a little bit more soon than not soon. And I recognize all that and acknowledge it. And I hope that those of you that are for the soon or have done soon or doing soon, that you're asking yourself, are we having the the required conversations before we're connecting and then getting to convictions, those 3 C's. Conversations lead to connections, which lead to convictions. As you open up and allow somebody in, you start to tell them what you believe and why, what you practice and why it's important to you. Okay? And so that's very, very important. All right? But I want to pivot a little bit and talk about this another part of the aspect of the living ship. She's told all her family and friends. Now, you know, or sometimes you may know, that when you're in love or in strong like, you want everybody to know. Some people do. You want your mama to know, your daddy to know, Uncle Junebug to know, Cousin Riri to know, Nikki and them to know. You tell everybody. I done found this great man or woman and I moved in. I know it's only been 3 months, but child, when it's right, it's right. And we gonna move forward and we gonna see what happens, right? But then the other person in the relationship is like, I just told my one friend. Valencia mentioned something earlier. It can make you feel like, well, wait a minute. Are you hiding me? Here's what I suggest. And I want to hear your thoughts on this suggestion and other suggestions. If you're in a situation, a relationship where the other person has not revealed to other people that you all are in a relationship, living ship, relationship, situationship, ask yourself 2 questions. Is there a known reason why he or she hasn't? Maybe he or she hasn't in the past, a bad marriage, bad relationship. You know about the relationship being bad. You know about the past ex being crazy. So that's a known, you just didn't know that he didn't want to say it because of that, because you all didn't have this conversation, right? But is there a known why? Is there a potentially known why? Let's call it that. You know he had a crazy ex. You know she has a crazy baby daddy. You know this. Okay? And the second question I want you to ask yourself is, why is that important to you, but you haven't made it known to him or her? Now, there are tons of other questions that you might come up to ask, but I think you better ask those too. And you better ask yourself, is there a known reason? So, okay, you got a crazy ex. So you say, hey, I know that you have a crazy ex. Is that why you haven't shared it with your family? Because I respect that you don't want me to be fighting your crazy ex. I don't want to fight your crazy ex. I won. I'm with you. Okay? But you want to ask, is this known reason it? And watch his body language. Watch her body language. Men sometimes will almost bear down like, oh, I knew we had to talk about this. And a woman might just collapse into it and say, oh my God, right? But watch the body language and ask yourself, am I getting a truthful answer? Okay. Then if that's important to you, first ask yourself why. And the reason I want you to ask yourself why is, has this person made you feel comfortable in the relationship that it does not matter whomever else knows? Do you have that level of comfortableness? And if you can't get that level of comfortableness or you're not there yet, have you made it known to him or her how important it is for you to be known? Because that's something in you that you can resolve to say, I'm comfortable enough to wait for the introduction. I don't feel that there's deception here, or there is something that I'm not comfortable enough with yet. And so I need to either become comfortable or I need to make him aware how important it is to me to be upfront and known. I live with you and you can't tell nobody unless we both agree to that. It may feel it should. And I want to ask you, Valencia, not you, but I would be asking you to ask yourself, why do I feel disrespected? Because probably if we're feeling disrespected, he has not, or she, in your case, he has not, or she has not made you feel present, comfortable, cherished, loved enough that no one else's knowing would matter. That you feel like it's the two of you against the world. And if because of any past insecurities or current ones, he has not worked to make you as comfortable in that relationship that you trust how he navigates, then you might feel disrespected. And you got to ask yourself why. And you got to ask him why. Known or unknown, right? Why? Right? The person should not have to ask. It should be disclosed. We live together. Game's over. Just share truth. Yep. He might have a reason. He might say, I'm not telling my family because my mama is messy and she really wants my baby mama to be the wife. And so I'm just not giving them access to that. But he should make you comfortable enough that you are the first place. You are the first person to where you feel like, that don't bother me, in his own time. Now, that could be your own insecurities. It could be. But he should know that. Now, 3 months is quick to know it, but he should know that and have done everything, he or she, if it's a woman, to have made you feel comfortable and secure in this relationship, because it's not about these other people. But he's got to make sure that you know that. Maybe he isn't hiding anything. What if there is nothing here and he has a legitimate explanation? Let's have a conversation now and expect that the relationship will continue to move forward. I don't see anything here until the conversation is had. Love breaks all rules. But is it love? I would just push back slightly on that, senior associate producer, because we haven't had the conversations. If your woman is not comfortable, you have not made her comfortable and you have not acknowledged her uncomfortableness enough to have the conversation. A man knows if a woman is uncomfortable with not being upfront and known. A woman knows if her boyfriend or bae or boo is not comfortable with not being called her man. You have to have the conversations. So it's a lot there, because you've allowed it to be. And what I'm saying is, people come with all kind of insecurities that we cannot fully account for, but we can manage expectations. And in a relationship, you should expect that the significant other is making you emotionally and psychologically safe, that you don't feel like there are any outsiders that can impede or damage the connection or relationship. That the acknowledgement in the relationship is sufficient and balanced enough that you feel comfortable sitting in your seat in this relationship. And most times we fail to do that because we aren't having the conversations, is what I'm saying. That's my pushback on that. It's the imbalance. Sandra Beavis has joined. I hope you will click share. We're at 9:25, but it's a great topic. Came straight from the inbox, which is what I love. I love interviewing people. I think I could just be an interview. People say I am a host, but I think I could be a host like on a TV show. Come on, Oprah. Come on, come on, Tyler Perry. But I love people dropping these topics in the inbox. And I know some people are saying, but we don't know them. You would be surprised that we live in a world where people don't always have a place where they can talk or be heard without judgment. And that's what the Tuesday night show is about. I miss you, Sandra Beavers. Now you got to help me now because they didn't change the algorithm on me. So you got to click share and come on. I'm gonna have to bring you on the show, and I want to connect you. You may be connected to Tabitha and Valencia, but if you join Inside of Love and Stuff, we'll have a chance real soon so that you can connect with them more. I've been thinking about you and praying about you, in the loss of your son, and it's not a season, Sandra. It won't just, you won't just get over it. So if people are telling you that, don't buy into that. Okay. He was torn away from you. He was murdered unjustly. I don't think that there was a just murder, but you know what I'm attempting to say. And I want you to know you're loved. You're in this Love and Stuff community. And some days, if you want to shout and scream and curse, that's why I want a Love and Stuff community where people who are hurt and have been bruised and battered, and or people who just want an opinion, they might not even follow it. Sometimes I'm giving advice or what I consider counsel, godly counsel, and people don't follow it. And then I'm reminded there are times that Valencia gave me advice. I showed and followed some of them things, Valencia, when I was 18. Woo! But she sowed a seed and it made me think. It gave me options, sometimes options I hadn't thought about. And so that's why I love the inbox, because it gives people to have options without necessarily identity. Of course, you're always welcome if it's your topic to come on and talk about your topic, but you can just be in the room. You can play it after the play. And listen, I've had couples, the wife has put her topic in the inbox and they both watch the show. And sometimes the husband will inbox and say, that sounds like me, has to do it. Well, I don't know, but you should talk to your wife if it struck a chord. Because from at being a certified human resources professional, confidentiality is important to me. But not only that, I know that sometimes people will feel more comfortable saying things that they don't think that they will be repeated and identified as them. You can have that here. And what does it do? What does it do? It helps you to have another perspective. I mean, we got some, I was about to say fine. That would be, I feel like I'm British. We have some outstanding, that's kind of still British. We have some wonderful people in the Love and Stuff community. Valencia, Tabitha, I'm calling them by their first names, but they're elders or ministers in their own right, so don't mistake it. We got tons of people. And I think it's a great place to be where these people aren't going to judge you. They're going to help you to have perspective around what you're doing. And how valuable is that, where you're trying to increase the amount of love in your life? Because guess what? Your job is going to go better if you feel loved at home. Don't miss that. That was delivered on Tuesday night, straight out of the grease. Your job is going to be better if you loved at home. And even if you're the only body in your home, guess what? If you have self-care and loving yourself, you're going to work better. You're going to think differently about your career and your priorities when you take care of yourself first. You master loving your spouse, your boss will be nothing. You master loving your children, your coworkers, who are sometimes like your children. Somebody say, man, those will be easily mastered. As we work on one area of our life, I believe the love contagion spills into the other and says, I can apply these principles of love everywhere. Okay. So that's why I love coming from the inbox and not just interviewing. Don't get me wrong. I love to bring you guests, and you can inbox me and say, "Who I'd like to have this person or that person come on and talk to us about this." I'm open to all of that. But I love people dropping topics in the inbox, and it's where we started, because people are transparent and sometimes raw, and they're just looking to hear some different perspective. And again, the disclaimer, I'm not a loveologist, a sexologist, a psychologist. I think I've tried them all. Pray for me. I'm not certified in a single one. But what I do know is that over these 35 years or more that I've been around love, particularly in organized religion kind of love, I've met wonderful people. I've met great couples, and I define a great couple as people who are together for a period of time. That period of time could be 60 years, 20 years, 2 years. I can learn something from them all. I can learn something from a single mother. I can learn something from a single father. I can learn something from grandparents that are raising their grandchildren. I can learn something from traditional families, mom, dad, children. I can learn something from anybody, and I can take that information and synthesize it and share it to both increase my love and that of this community. And that's what I've been blessed to do. And that's what I'm excited to have the opportunity to continue to do with great people like you in the love and stuff community. So that's my pitch, to get you to drop those topics in the inbox. And you never know when your topic is coming up, but I may shoot you a quick inbox and say, hey, we're going to do your topic. And again, I hold the anonymity to the highest degree. If you decide, hey, I don't want people to know this is my topic. I had someone inbox me the other day, and she was just thanking me. Thank you for this platform. I said, hey, this is a love thing. This is a God thing, giving us this platform because it allows us to share love. To share love. Yep, Sandra, I'm looking at the comments. I felt you're going through some of your posts, and sometimes I might just I put that I love my little emojis. The one that's I think is my face and praying, but I have the thing that when I put that, I stop in that moment and pray. Sometimes it's 2 words. 2 of my favorite words are Father, touch. And I believe the Father hears me in spite of me because of the blood of his son, Jesus. And I believe he gives me access to the throne to be able to say, Father, touch with boldness, so that he can touch you because he knows exactly where you're aching, where you're hurting, and you're broken. And so over the past several weeks, I've just been tracking with you. And I just saw some things and I said, Father, touch. Because he can touch you, Sandra, in a way that nobody else can. I think you already know that, but that's been my prayer of love for you. Love thy neighbor, yes, as you love yourself. That's a hefty call. It's a hefty call in my estimation to love God. He's the easiest to love, but I don't think we do as much loving on him as we should, because I think we take it for granted. He is, after all, love. I mean, right? But the hefty call in that's a high call, I think, is to love yourself, which I call the neglected love, and then love other people as you love yourself. Because what if you out here loving and you're like, dang, that was kind of bold? It's probably because you bold to yourself. You're probably biased to yourself. You're probably discretionary loving people. You know, I'm going to love you more because you did right. You did what I wanted you to do. And that's probably what you do to yourself. So if you overeat or if you make a mistake, you're probably brutal to yourself until you learn to love yourself and laugh at yourself and say, I'm going to make some mistakes. And God's got those covered, and he's going to help me recover from the mistakes I make, even the ones that I made again. And when you start to love yourself like that, then you can start to love other people like that and say, you know what? You made that same mistake again. I'm going to love you through that, because that's the hefty consideration in my estimation. It's loving yourself and then loving other people in a way that looks like how you love yourself. And if we work toward mastery of that, my friends, what a home, what a relationship, what a community, what a church, what a ministry, what a job we will all have, me included. Just reread the question. Maybe the person does not want to be judged by someone, friends or family, because the other relationship ended some kind of way. That could be. That could certainly be. And what I would say to him is, There is a chance that if you walked a straight line, following Jesus, that people would criticize and judge you because of your past mistakes. Your goal in a relationship is to make the other person so free in the power of comfortableness that they intimately, almost blindly trust you because you've made it emotionally and psychologically safe. And you cannot do for them what you have not done for yourself. You cannot release somebody else if you don't release yourself from the judgment of others. So what, you jacked up that marriage? So what, you jacked up that relationship? You jacked it up. You had a role in it. But you don't have to be defined by what you've done. You can move forward into something new. And unless you are free to do that, you can never free somebody to be involved and engaged in it with you. There are always going to be dissenting voices. There's a Supreme Court with dissenting opinions every time. Sometimes the dissenting opinions make more sense, but that's another story. But there's always going to be somebody that has something to say. Now, how do you free your partner from the effects of that if you're not free from it? Because after all, if you moved in with somebody after 3 months, didn't nobody hold a gun to your neck? Did nobody shove you into that place or shove her into that place? If you're living together after 3 months, you two grown folks decided that. Now deal with it. Deal with the people that's going to say that's too soon and be freed from them. And when you free yourself, you can free somebody else. But you're going to have the other person sitting bound. Should we be doing this? Because your people, baby, I don't care what my people think. This is me and you. So watch me navigate. They're not involved for a reason. Don't worry about that judgment. That's them. Come with me. Let's do this together. And if I see that they've evolved, if I see they matured, I'll introduce you to more of them. But today, it's me and you. And those have to be more than words. You have to have made her feel comfortable, emotionally safe, psychologically safe, that you are there for the long haul. Hard to do in 3 months, hard to do in 7, but you start somewhere. And I think the start is the conversation that says, we're in this to win it. We're in it 3 months, 7 months. And here's what I need you to know. Here's what I need you to trust. And I need you to be patient with me as I navigate this, because there is a past. And so that it doesn't get involved, it's me and you. Not in an isolation way, right? Because isolation, when people isolate you, got to watch that, right? But I don't want to expose you to some stuff, right? But that's the conversation. This has been a great show, and I hope that you will click share. You have helped me to click share last week, and we were able to get it in front of a whole lot of people on the Love and Stuff page. 6,000 views, just about 1,000 through plays. I couldn't have done any of that without you. You helped me to get to that. And so we've shared it in groups. We've shared it through boosts. We've shared it every way that we can share it. But we really need for that organic traffic to happen. And so we're going to have some episodes coming up where we're going to be asking you to share. Our goal is to get 100 shares. We believe that puts us in a certain realm in the algorithms. And we need you to help us to do that. And we've had some challenges with algorithms on Facebook. And we will not be discouraged by that. I think that wherever there's love, there is going to be indifference or hate. Where there's good, there's going to be evil. And I know we can overcome evil with good. We can Drive out hate with love. Everybody ain't hating on you, but I know these algorithms are hating on me. And so we're gonna get in front of these algorithms if you help us in the Love and Stuff community. All right. As we close, we're only 11 minutes over. I'm trying to get to stay in the hour because if we were on TV, they would cut us off. I want to remind you that there is a brand new group called Inside of Love and Stuff. I want you to be inside of Love and Stuff. What does that mean? Well, there's going to be wonderful content I post on the Marcus R. Holmes page. A lot of those posts are about food. Pray for me if you think that's gluttonous. And Love and Stuff. I do birthdays. We'll get back to doing more birthdays, and we do content around love, right? But inside of Love and Stuff, just once a week, you get to talk with the people in the community. Away from just me, we'll be in a messenger room, and you get to hang out with people and find out, okay, who's in this almost 4,000 people, right? And you know, we're trying to encourage people to just get connected, have conversations, and get connected. And every connection isn't going to be the eros kind of love connection. It could be the filios, the filiae love, the brotherly, sisterly love connection. You need more love in your life. You need people helping you to look at your life and say, you can do it. Who's pushing you? Who's helping you get to your greatness? Who's helping you move forward? Who's helping you get past that broken relationship? All of that, I think you can find inside of Love and Stuff, right? And so we're building that group, and I hope that you will join that group. If you follow our page, that gets you the notice to every Tuesday. Anytime we do gratefulness journey stuff, it will give you the notice to that. Inside of Love and Stuff will give you more. You'll get to learn a little bit more about me and a little bit more about the folks in the Love and Stuff community. That's what it's for. It's for us to kind of fellowship, kind of get to know each other a little more. There are people that kind of do know each other, but there are more people that are on the periphery, and we want to bring you inside of Love and Stuff. All right. We want this to be the community garden where your love is watered. Okay. That's joining that. And then those of you that are looking for a specific kind of love, we'll be talking to you about coming in the inner circle as we plan to go on our 12-month self-care journey, as we plan to deepen our understanding of 36 questions that lead to love. And there are these other relationship questions for connecting, especially those of you that are ambiverts and introverts, and you want to know how to start connections with people, and you're seeking a specific kind of love. You want to improve your relationship. You want to find your mate. You want to get along with your mom. You want to reconcile with your dad. That's going to be the inner circle work, because you got to do a little bit more work, right? You got to do a little bit more focus to do that kind of work. Okay. But I'm trying to get everybody in the inside of Love and Stuff. I want to remind you that you can get the Gratefulness Journey every day. And we're working on something else. Mama V pressed on my heart. She didn't mean to press it on my heart, I don't think, in this way, but and I just read, Mama V, that your governor in your state is tested positive for COVID. Okay. So we know that we're still in a pandemic. COVID-19 and the Delta variants are real. You're getting a vaccine, and it is not an inoculation. It's a vaccine, right? Which means that you can still contract the virus. You can still transmit it to someone else. So Love and Stuff is going to soon have some masks with our Love and Stuff logo on it, because we want to promote you wearing masks. The CDC says at this point we should still be wearing masks, even indoors, based on the trends of the Delta variant. So it's just our way to encourage people to wear masks, even if you've been vaccinated. I have a person that I know who's fully vaccinated, and she contracted the virus from her daughter and is having some challenges. She is not, thankfully, taking any kind of turn for the worse, as it were. But I just want everybody to choose. I know you don't want to wear a mask. I know people have conspiracy theory thoughts. I understand, and trepidation, and I don't want to belittle any of that. I think that's important that you have the choice. I do. But wear a mask. Wear a mask and social distance. So we're going to be having masks. We're going to ask you to support it. We're going to ask you to take a picture or do a video and just share it, just to help people remember, wear your mask. It's okay. Wear your mask. I know you're fully vaccinated. Please wear your mask, because you can still contract this virus, and we're still in the midst of a pandemic. It's 9:46. I'm 16 minutes over. Thank all of you that have joined. I hope that you will click share, whether you are watching us from where we are emanating, which is the Love and Stuff page, the Love and Stuff community page. We love you. Marcus R. Holmes page. We love you. YouTube events or Twitch TV, HR Passion Guy. We love you. And we hope that you will share this content widely and think about, if you don't remember anything I said, though, read the comments. There's some wonderful comments there from everybody. And thank you for all of your comments and wisdom. Remember, in living ships, relationships, 3 C's. In this order, as Mama D would say, in that order. Conversations, so that you can learn about the other person. Connections, so that you can see if you're deeply aligned and complementing each other. Going beyond compatibility. Are you aligned? Are your lives aligned? Do they have a connection point? Convictions. Meaning, who are you? What do you believe? What do you practice? And how do you use who you are and what you practice to navigate in this world? In that order. Don't get connected or try to be connected expecting that the conversation will come and the convictions will come. Conversations first. How are you? What are you doing? Where? When? Why? How? Conversations, connections, convictions. Okay? Remember those in your living ships, relationships, situationships, so that you don't move so quickly, maybe, to connections. Sometimes those connections are physical. No judgment here. But don't expect that because you've had such a great physical connection that the conversation then comes easy. It doesn't necessarily. And sometimes it can muddy your sensors, your sensory, to be able to tell if what you're getting is the authentic self. Okay? All right. Have a wonderful evening. I am excited that you're here. I hope you will click share and tag 5 of your closest friends, 5 of your more popular friends, to keep the conversation going in Love and Stuff. Living together. Is it our business, your business? As Angela Wilson said earlier, nobody's business. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next Tuesday with another show. Don't forget to drop in the inbox your comments and your feedback, and keep it going. Keep it moving. We love you, and have a great, great evening.